blueberry muffins and homemade croissants.
It's live. Good. Okay. And I hope.
No, she did it. Because okay, did you know we went to Tamara?
Okay.
No. Wait a minute. She's joking.
All right, you guys, we're gonna get started. We're getting started. We got a lot to cover. All right. So everybody take a deep cleansing breath. All right. Our final week. Give yourself a round of applause. Very good. Very good. Okay. So here is the deal. Can somebody message Kanisha or just text her because she is not on live yet, and just make sure she figures that out before we're done. So tonight is going to be a little bit different of our format. We're going to go actually right into training, and then we are going to do recognition at the end because we have our top 5 that we're going to recognize our big winners and hear from them. And then we are going to finish. We're going to just talk about the application. And we're going to share some goals and some commitment things and some things I'm going to basically have you make sure that you're writing down. And I actually, can somebody get a piece of paper to pass around for me because I forgot to print that. Thank you, Lisa. So I'll have you, as I'm going along, I'll tell you what to put on it. I'm going to have people put like 3 different things on it. So what we're going to do, you guys, is as we're going through, I'm going to have you jot down a couple things that you're going to share at the end. All right? So as we're going through some of those notes, if I say, hey, just jot this down, make sure you jot it down so we can kind of, go through that. All right? So let's go ahead and open up in prayer. One more cleansing breath. And all right. Well, dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you so much for this night. We thank you so much for these last couple weeks and the growth that we've been able to do, Lord. And we just ask that you would not let this just be some education program that we went through, Lord, that you would have it just stick to our heart and our souls and our minds, and that we would continue to reflect on what we have learned and be able to apply it to our life and to be committed to taking action and having outcome and results, Lord, and not just settling for where we are in life right now and settling for the 10% that so many just get out of life, but that we will only accept the 100% you call us to do. We will be actively pursuing that. Just actively pursuing that with all of we got so that we can glorify you as much as possible while we're here on earth. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay.
Amy?
Yes.
Kanisha says she didn't get an invite, and that's so she's on the YouTube.
I invited. I will send one more. What is, okay, Kanisha Dixon 1 at Gmail. Tell her she has an invitation, just posted it again. All right, so, I want to remind you guys, we started out with this saying, if you want to change, if you want your life to change, what's going to happen? You have to change. So that was our outcome when we started. And we're going to talk about outcome tonight. And if you want your life to get better, what has to get better? You have to get better. So how many of you feel like you're doing that? You're actively getting better. You're actively making the changes within yourself. I certainly hope that you don't feel like you're the same person when you started with this. Because we know is until we have those shifts in our heads, can we be able to do that. And so I hope you're clear on what motivates you. I just want to review what we have covered, and I'm going to absolutely ask that you're doing that reflecting, and you're going back over the next couple of weeks and taking this, because there's a lot of great stuff in here. So week 1, we covered what it takes to be successful. We covered fear, self-esteem, self-worth, and commitment. The following week, we talked about the law of attraction and the factors that ignite change. So again, if you're not seeing that massive change yet in yourself, I'd go back and revisit those factors and see about that and be actively pursuing that change. The power of visualization. Week 3, we talked about leadership, people skills, and networking again. So again, how to really get out there and meet the people and how to connect. Week 4, we talked about the money and career path with the consistency. Week 5, discovering your why and how to help others discover it and your 5 basic needs. All right, and week 6, ready? So we're going to cover kind of 3 things tonight. We're going to cover attitude. We are going to cover just really the core of setting goals and how to take massive action. So how to take all of this and create massive action tonight. So let's go ahead and jump right in with attitude. And we know what? What does Mary Kay always say? Your attitude determines your altitude. So having all of this, and how do we take all this information now and be really applying it to our lives? We have to have the right attitude going forward and that right mindset so that we can apply this. So we all want a fulfilled life, yes? Yes, we all want a
Yes.
fulfilled life. And a fulfilled life is a result of filling our mind correctly. Wise thinking leads to good living. So our attitude is the paintbrush to our mind. Just think about that. Your attitude is the paintbrush to your mind. We have the responsibility and the choice to fill our minds with the right things. So what does a fulfilled life look like? What does that look like? You know, you ask different people that, you may get a different answer. I would say 3 things, you know, just really celebrating God and putting God first and the center of your life. So many times I find when we're all messed up or upset or frustrated, is because really we're not creating God as the center. We're focusing on the peripheral, we're focusing on the stuff around us that we're frustrated with, our circumstances, instead of really saying, okay, God, let me focus on how good you are and trusting you and then moving forward. So second, a fulfilled life is, I would say, adding value to people. You know, we read about that in this book, right? Getting out of focusing on ourselves and really focusing on others, and not just focusing on them, but adding value to them. You know, I've done that exercise, you know, about the plus or the minus and who you're hanging around. But if 5 people thought about you, would they say, you know, you're adding value to the thing. And then the third thing for a fulfilled life would be to give God your concerns. And, you know, we learned that to cast our fears and anxieties on him and trusting in him and not worrying. And I know as women, what do? We tend to worry a lot. And so instead of worrying, I'm just going to ask you guys moving forward to replace that with prayer and replace that with trust. Because we can live so much more joy, we can have so much more happiness in our life if we would just kind of release a lot of those things that we're so worried about. And I know that that's not easy to do. So let's just keep those things, you know, in front of us. So the key to a fulfilled life is filling your mind and meditating on those things that are good, things to praise, things that we're grateful for. This was the whole kind of foundation of the joy challenge. Remember, the whole joy challenge was focusing on what it is, not focusing on the bad, because we all, right? I mean, how many of you have bad stuff in your life right now? Okay, how many of you have good stuff in your life right now, right? It's always going to be like that, but in our mind sometimes we're like, I just want everything to be good, but that's never going to happen. So we have the choice, right? Okay, am I going to focus on this or am I going to focus on this? Bless you. I remember sometimes, you know, I think it was Gloria that said this, and it's such a good demonstration that stuck to me. If you'll visualize, right, because we have the bad choice, the good choices. If you have a little devil on one shoulder and you have a little angel on one shoulder, right, this one's in your ear going, look at all the bad stuff. Look how bad your life sucks. Look at this. Look at this. You're never going to be right. And then, you know, and then you have this voice that's breathing life into you, giving life, and I love you. You're a child of me, and you're going to, you know, I have a great life for you. I have good, all things work together for good. So what are you listening to? Which voice are you going to listen to? Because that's what this is saying. If you will meditate, if you will think in your quiet time, in your prayer time on all the good stuff, what will you crave more of? The good stuff. Mm-hmm. But if you just keep focusing on all the bad stuff and the negative stuff, what are you going to create more of? Mm-hmm. Of all that stuff. So I think living a fulfilled and joyful life is saying I'm committed to meditating on the good stuff, on the things I'm grateful for, things to praise. So you can change your life by adjusting your attitude. Do you believe that?
Yes.
You can change your life by adjusting your attitude. Oh man, I forgot this. Hey, well, would you do me a favor? Actually, I wanted to get, okay, well, we're just gonna imagine, because I didn't put this little thing together. Okay, so if I had, let's just use this. Okay. I meant to grab this. I ran out of time. All right. So if I had something called Sweet Spirit Spray, okay, and I could spray a little bit of Sweet Spirit, like hold, right? Who would take some Sweet Spirit? I was trying to get this little spray thing, okay? And what if you could actually purchase this? I mean, this is, hey, honey, this could be your, what's that thing on your Shark Tank? You're always trying to figure out? Okay, an invention. But people, how many of you have ever been around people that have just a really crummy attitude? They're always complaining. They're always negative. Or maybe it's a team member that's like giving you the excuses, or, you know, and you could just take some sweet spray, you know? And how many times, you know what I'm talking about, you've had those conversations, you're in those moments, you're like, right? You know what I'm saying? And so I think that we can adjust our life by adjusting our attitude. And when we decide to do that, like you now are around other people that you're like, oh, you need to adjust your attitude too. And you know, so just have that little mental thing. But again, we've all had those people with a bad attitude. And How many of you know some people you would definitely use that on? Mm-hmm. How many of you would maybe sit next to them? I'm just kidding. Okay? But we got to be conscious of that because, again, we know your attitude determines your altitude, but we got to keep this in the forefront of all that we do. So I want to give you change the way you think, and then you can change the way you live. Yes, change the way you think. This is what we've been figuring out on this personal development journey about changing the way we think, because then we can change the way that we live. So I want to just give you 4 things concerning attitude. People with great attitudes possess these 4 things. People with great attitudes possess these 4 things. Number 1, a teachable spirit. A teachable spirit. So I want you to just think about that. You know, we hear teachable and coachable, but really think about somebody who has a teachable spirit. You know, I love that word teachable spirit because it's in who they are. They're not teachable on some things or on some subjects. It's not like, well, I don't know about that, so I'm going to be teachable in that or coachable in that. It's like I have a teachable spirit. So in every situation, in every circumstance, because there's always stuff that we can be learning all the time. So that means what you've learned, putting into practice the things you've learned. Not that you're just taking notes and you have 10,000 journals, but that you, and repeated long, hard looks in the mirror. People have teachable spirits constantly are checking on themselves. This Mac can't connect to iCloud. Oh gosh, Barbara, here's that iCloud thing. I don't know. Later. Okay. So we have to look in the mirror because many times, guess who's the problem? We are the problem. And we have to admit that and say, I got to fix me. I've got to fix me right now. I've got to adjust my attitude. A teachable allows God and others to speak into our lives. See, if you don't have a teachable spirit, then even when God is trying to speak something into you, or somebody else is trying to speak something into you, and I know, and I've had this happen to me, that God speaks through people. There was somebody just this week, who was it? Maybe it was one of you, I can't remember. But somebody said something to them, and then I said the same thing to them. You, Elaine, it was you. Remember? I said something to you Monday, and the pastor said something, said the same thing to you.
Yes.
Said the same thing to you. But then there was somebody else, and if it's one of you, remind me, that I said there was a verse, and they just read that verse the same day, and then I said that verse because I had read it to them. You know what I'm saying? But those are the times, you guys, it's sometimes very obvious when God's speaking through you. But he says to us, I will speak through people through you. So if you don't have that teachable spirit, you can't hear those things that you really need to hear from people or from God. So sometimes we get defensive. Who's ever, right, maybe been defensive when people try to tell us something that's actually going to help us. They're not trying to tell you something to hurt you. They're trying to tell you something to help you. But we have to have that teachable spirit to hear it. So a teachable spirit is somebody who invites somebody to say, tell me. You know, tell me how I can be better. Tell me maybe what's holding me back. Tell me what some of those blind spots are. And I know I've been asking people that, you know, about those things. So, you know, we all can grow and learn, but don't wait for somebody just to tell you, because that's when sometimes you can get defensive. But if you go to somebody that you love and admire, or somebody that's mentoring you and saying, tell me, you know, what is it that I could learn, or how could I be better? That's having a teachable spirit. The opposite of a great attitude is complaining. The opposite of a great attitude is complaining. All the time when I hear complaining from my kids, they know, I ask them, Karen could tell you this. Are you having a good attitude or a bad attitude? I just ask them that all the time. Are you having a good attitude or a bad attitude? And they know, right? It doesn't matter if they're 4 or they're 2. They know if they're having a good or bad attitude. And a lot of times it's when they're complaining and they're whining about something. So that's the opposite of having a good attitude. Also, all of you are educated, all of us are educated beyond our obedience. And that is a very scary place to be. But it's true. All of us are educated beyond our obedience. That means that we're not taking everything that we know and applying it. We're not being obedient to what we have, right? How many of you would agree? I mean, all of us in this room are not applying everything that we could be, yes? So we want to lead sometimes before we to do the work. Sometimes we want to be that leader and that director and want to, you know, make that impact before we are willing to lead ourselves and do the work. Okay, so that's number 1, teachable spirit, great attitude. Number 2 is to take responsibility. To take responsibility. People with great attitudes, they take responsibility. They will say, I'm responsible for my attitude. You know, how do we do that? How do we take responsibility for our attitude? Fill our mind with good things. How many of you, somebody holds a gun to your head and says, you have to watch this program. You have to listen to this stuff while you're getting ready. You know, we choose the things that we watch and we listen to. We choose who we hang out with and who we choose to be in our inner circle. We meditate on good things because meditation is like marinating, right? Like when you think of, you know, a good piece of steak or a chicken and you marinate it in sauce, right? You let it soak. And so when you're meditating on good things or unhealthy things, you gotta, you know, it's gonna get inside of you. Like hopefully it's programming, and why I've been talking about you guys taking that time to reflect, because when you leave here, you know, you spent 2 hours a week here. So just take, right? Now this 2 hours is going to be done, but you still have the 2 hours in your schedule. So you find another place of 2 hours a week that you're going to take time, reflect, and plan, and be on purpose. We'll talk more about that. And then practice good things. You know, responsibility is just practicing good things, those good habits. So I'm saying, you know, I want you to repeat after me. I'm responsible.
I'm responsible
to fill my mind. Meditate on good things.
Meditate on good things.
And put it into practice. Okay? So it's meditating it, letting it simmer, and then, you know, putting it out there like we learned last week. God's not going to give you what he doesn't know can flow through you. So there's a story I heard of this guy, and he would, every day he would, you know, he went to work and he had his lunch. And in his lunch, he would always open up and he would always complain, bologna sandwich. And then the next day, another bologna sandwich. And then after, you know, the end of the week, it was like the one more thing. What would he say? Man, I hate these stupid bologna sandwiches. Why do I keep getting bologna sandwiches? And the guy next to him was like, dude, chill out. It's okay. Calm down. It's just a bologna sandwich. Well, you know, why don't you talk to your wife? You know, she's packing your lunch. Just go home today and tell her, I don't like bologna sandwiches. So maybe you can pack me something else next week. And the guy said, leave my wife out of this. I make my own bologna sandwiches. And when you think about it, typically the bologna, right, the crap in our life, who usually does that? Who usually does that? We are making the bologna in our own life. So I just thought that was a cute story, you know, to really think about that, because it's not your spouse. It's, you know, not your boss. It's not where you live, or it's not somebody else's fault, or whatever you're blaming. It's taking responsibility for your attitude. All right, the third thing to have people with a great attitude, travel the high road. They travel the high road. It was funny, actually, as I was driving Sawyer and Carrie Lynn to Vacation Bible Camp today, you know, because I had worked on this yesterday, and so I said to them, I said, okay, I don't even know how to remember. I said, do y'all know what it means to take the high road? And I said, so, you know, you can either take the high road or you can take the low road. What sounds better? Carolyn goes, the low road. I said, think of, where's God? Heaven high. Just think the high road. The high road is better. And I explained this thing, this concept to them. Okay, Barbara, is this? I hope it's okay. I don't know why this.
And all you have to worry is everyone else can hear you through the other one.
Okay, well, I guess they'll tell me. Okay, so, but God chooses what we go through, but we choose how we go through it. So again, you know, I explained to them, I said the high road is when you treat others better than they treat you. The low road is treating people worse than they treat you. And the middle road is actually treating people the same. How should we treat people? High road. Better, right? And many times people are like, they didn't treat me well, I'm going to treat them the same way, right? The middle road.
Kindness.
Huh? Yeah, tell them with kindness. So taking the high road. So I've seen two people in the same situation. One takes the high road, one takes the low road. One has a good attitude, one has a bad attitude. So we all know that you can see two different people come from the same home, come from the same workplace, and they totally have two different outcomes, right? I'm sure you can think of maybe a sibling or, you know, those situations, right? It's not the environment, it's the person, right? It's not the environment, it's the person. There's this really cute story, and hopefully I don't offend any cat lovers, okay, by this story. But there's a story, and it's about a dog versus a cat, and the dog and the cat both kept diaries. And the dog, and the dog diary It said at 8 a.m., breakfast, my favorite thing. At 8:30, he wrote, car ride, my favorite thing. At 9:40, a walk in the park, my favorite thing. 10:30, I was rubbed and petted, my favorite thing. At noon, he had lunch, my favorite thing. At 1:20, he put in there, I played in the yard,
My
my favorite thing. At 3 p.m., I wagged my tail, my favorite thing. At 7 p.m., I played ball,
My
my favorite thing. And at 8 p.m., I watched TV with my people, my favorite thing. And at 11 p.m., I slept with my people,
My
favorite thing.
I can hear my doggy saying this too.
Then the cat diary said, day 983 of my captivity. My captures tend to torture me with odd dangling little objects. The only thing that keeps me going is my hope for escape. All right, but it just gives you a good example that some take the low road, they treat people worse, some people take the high road. It's not the environment, it's the person or the animal. Okay, all right, now number 4, understand the value of attitude. You know, I did a couple of interviews and conversations today, and Elaine, I know one was with you, and I said it to your girl we were talking to, that if people understood the value of something, it would change everything. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
Like if somebody really understood, I think I was talking about with her girl, the value of personal development. The problem is why, and John Maxwell always talks about, most people don't have a personal growth plan. Well, if people really understood the value of personal development, they would do the reflection. They would do the things we've been talking about. So the number 4 is like the value of attitude. Because if people really understood how much it affected everything, they really would make more of an attempt to have a better attitude. So understand the value of what a good attitude will do for you. There is little difference in people, but that little difference makes a big difference, right? A little difference, but that little difference is what will make big difference. The little difference is attitude. The big difference is whether it is positive or negative. A good attitude is important at the beginning of the task. Okay, so I want you to think about what's the beginning of a task maybe that you've done that you realize, wow, it's really important that I go into this task with a good attitude.
Well, I talked about it to school. We actually, with Marzano, they're making us do professional growth development. And at the beginning, they'll make us do that. And we're trying to be a STEM school. And I went into this being, let's do it. The kids like more hands-on things, whatever. But there's so much pushback from everybody else that it's like, they don't want to do that. They don't want change. They don't want to better themselves for the future. And the future is all we have when we get older.
Absolutely.
So I'm just trying to do my best with, learning this, learning that, no matter how much I have to do for myself to learn. But I'm willing to do it while other people are not.
Right. And that's a great example, the willingness, which we're going to talk about. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, what about like a surgeon going in before surgery? His mindset being in the right place, or a student before they take a test, right? Their mindset, if they're going to ace that test or if they're going to fail that test, in their mindset. What about how your attitude is before you go into a party? One of the biggest things I would tell you is if you could line up 5 people, okay, and let's just say they were all getting ready to do a party, and you could just somehow read their mind. Like, let's just say that their minds were put up on a board behind them, and you can read them, okay? Who do you think out of those 5 people, let's just say they're all different people. They're all different people in a career path in Mary Kay. Okay, we've got 5 different people on the career path in Mary Kay, and you can read their minds right before they're going into a party. Will have the best mindset. Who's that board going to be behind them that's going to be the most positive? What do you think?
Somebody. Position?
Hmm?
You're asking what position?
Yeah, just think. I'm not telling you their positions, but I'm just saying if you have 5 different people that are in Mary Kay, all at different career path levels, all right?
Oh.
And you can read their attitudes and their mindset before going into a party. So who do you think would have the best mindset and the attitude probably?
Do you think the national would?
My thought would be the national.
I'd say the one who had the most sales the week before.
That's what I was thinking.
And I had a good experience with it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the highest position of those 5 people.
Right, national.
Because what is the foundation of what we're talking about? Attitude. Your attitude determines your altitude. And I will tell you, the higher I've gone up in the business, the better people's attitudes are. When you're on, I will never forget my first top director trip. And I can remember, oh yeah, baby, this is where I was meant to be. Because the conversations, nobody was complaining, nobody was making excuses of why they didn't go further, or they didn't do this, or complaining about this. It was like so refreshing. I'm like, oh yeah, these are my peeps. These are my peeps. This is where I'm meant to be. And then even more so, you know, at that national level, it's even like sometimes I'm like, oh, how did I get here? You know, but really, you guys, so it's not, that's why I said it doesn't even matter whatever position, because you will only stop yourself by your attitude. Your attitude determines your altitude. Okay, and I should have said if they were all in the same amount of time. I should have said that. Okay, but y'all get the gist of it, right? So here's the thing though. The beginning of a task, yes, your attitude matters, but the middle of the action matters too. See, in the middle is where we can get messed up. We can get bogged down, a little discouraged, a little tired, right? I was thinking about this also as I was running my laps with the kids this morning, and I knew I was going to do, you know, the 3 laps around the track and everything. And guess what what was the hardest lap?
The last one.
The second, okay? Because the first one you're getting going, right? And the third one, you know, and I do the sprint, I do certain sprints, and it was like that second of the sprint part on the second one was like, I wanted to die, okay? And so I had to remind myself, this is the hardest part, you know, when you're pushing through that middle part. Also, having an attitude of gratitude. The more you complain, the less you obtain. The more you complain, the less you obtain. And then, of course, the end of the task. Attitude has great value here, too. Have you ever been around somebody who has an amazing attitude? Like, you just want to be around them all the time. They lift people. They're an encourager. You know, if you want a fulfilled life, you can fill your life with the good things. We have a great group of women, people. We've all had some success, but we haven't even tapped into our greatest potential. What? Sorry. Did I say sex? Do y'all know I did that one time? Remember, Will? I was at a seminar and they were recording me.
I don't remember anything about sex.
And it's just we all had sex at the time. It's just success. I like we've had that too.
We've all had sex.
No, Will.
Yeah, us 3 times. 3 times.
We were sitting there, and it was a class, and I remember he was sitting there, like in the front row, and I said, I meant to say, when you have success, and I said, when you have sex, and then I was like, oh my God, and then I started laughing, I couldn't get my composure, and then like I said it again. That's clearly not going on in UCB. Okay, so, all right, we've all had some success. Barbara. But we haven't even tapped into our greatest potential, true? Yes. None of us have even come close. So moving forward, we got to fill our minds with good things, and when people come around you, the good stuff will creep out of you, right? So what does that mean? When we work on our attitude, and we're meditating on these great things, who are you gonna attract to you, like we talked about? We're gonna attract different people, yeah? Mm-hmm. Right? That's oozing out of your pores, that good attitude. So let's review those 4 before we move on, okay? So what are the 4 things that people with a great attitude have?
Teachable spirit.
Right? Teachable spirit.
Take responsibility of their attitude.
Travel
The high road and understand the value of it.
Okay, good. Simple. We can apply these things. We're ready to apply them. We're going to have a great attitude. And if you don't, something is you can wear a rubber band around you and poke yourself every time you catch yourself. You know, yeah, there you go. You know, catch yourself. We're going to give this one for the kids. Okay, so we're going to move on to part 2 tonight. This is being goal-oriented. I'm going to give you kind of a general ultimate success, what it takes to have ultimate success in your life. And then we're going to, this is going to kind of legway into the massive action, all right? Yes.
The first for the key to a fulfilled life. I'm sorry.
Training?
The first 2, the key. Focusing on God. Focusing on God. Thank you.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. So this is how, like, being goal-oriented. And I think sometimes, because we hear set goals all the time, right? That sometimes that can be watered down, and we have to make sure that even though it's something we hear all the time, that we still understand the value and the importance of goal setting and how important it is, and especially with right now, when we're setting.
Setting up for sex?
I'm telling you.
Very sexual. Okay. Anyways, so where were we? All right.
Goal oriented.
Goal.
So keep you right on track.
Well, we know Will's goal. Okay. So, number one, knowing your outcome. Let's just go right there. Knowing your outcome. All right. Clarity is power. So we must get focused on what you want. When you know your outcome, you empower yourself. See, so many times we're not focusing on the outcome. You got to start with the outcome. You got to start with the end result in mind, because that will empower yourself. How many of you have ever been in an argument with somebody? Well, she's been in here for this one, and then all of a sudden it's like you don't even know what you're arguing about.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't your outcome when you went into it, right? Your outcome was to come up with a solution, to solve something, resolve something. So, what's your outcome, and how are you keeping this in front of you? You know, if you went to just go visit a friend tomorrow, would you want to go in there with an outcome? You could maybe just as you're driving over, I want to just have the most fun possible. I need some fun in this next hour that we're hanging out, you know? Or I just want to make her feel amazing. You know, I want to just go make her feel special, lift her spirits up. So if you were driving over there and you had one of those two thoughts, do you think because you thought about the outcome before you got there, you would have more fun or make her feel even more special than if you just showed up and was there?
Yes.
So see, it doesn't matter what you do, the outcome. And I think sometimes we forget even the little things, because the little things matter, that we're doing that. And see, what happens is you're training your brain. So if you do something in one area, then it's just naturally you'll do it. And so many times we don't. We think only in the big things we should set goals, you know, or making that. But a lot of times we miss doing those things because we haven't created the habit of doing that. Okay, so knowing what we want, and you know, personally, professionally. Was that number one?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So knowing what I was going to get you through, right? Yes. Okay. With this. So this is again being goal oriented. How to have ultimate success in your life. The 3 things. So that was number one. Knowing your outcome. Number 2 is to actually use it. Use it. You know, people say, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. You know, we hear that all the time. You know, oh, I want to earn a car. You know, I don't know what to do. You know, here's the deal, you guys. You just got to move into imperfect action. Imperfect action. Stop thinking you got to be perfect to move forward. Okay, it's called imperfect action. I'll tell you what's worse is people who know what to do but don't take action. When people ask me the hardest thing of what I do, it's that. I shared that last week when I got vulnerable with you guys. You know, that breaks my heart is to see people who are incredible and amazing and have these gifts and have these talents but just don't take action. The road of someday leads to a town of nowhere. The road of someday leads to a town of nowhere. How many of you said you're going to reach a goal and maybe you haven't yet? Of course, that's going to happen to all of us. But sometimes because we think, one day, I'm going to be a director. You know, someday, I'm going to earn that Cadillac. Someday, I'm going to be a top director. You know, one day, I'm going to be a national sales director. But that someday is never going to happen. But that's what we do. We somehow justify in our minds because of our life, because we're having a baby, we're getting married, we're moving, someone's sick, right? All these things. We can justify in our mind. And we have to be careful because there will never be a perfect time. So the road of someday leads to a town of nowhere. So take action. Decide. Right? Decide. As big and bold caps. Highlight it. Underline it. Circle. Decide. Say decide.
Decide.
That's how you change your life, is you decide to. We've all heard the stories. If you're at a career conference, we heard Connie Miller. She made a decision. And therefore, she went from a red jacket for 11 years or whatever to a top director. And I just got the newsletter for the seminar. She's ranking top 20 in the entire diving seminar. Okay? So again, you guys, because she made a decision. So that if you're not, we change our life by deciding that we're not willing to settle. That we're not willing to live any less than you're meant to be. And guess what? People all around you will too. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. You know, right now, it's okay. Like more people are going to tell you that, are going to let you off the hook. But see, when you're called for greater and for more, that's that unrestlessness that you have. And so it doesn't matter what your husband says or what your best friend says or what this person says. When you know that you're called to do something great with your life, you're going to do it. And so don't listen to everybody else. Don't be willing to settle and live any less than you're meant to be. You're not going to keep living this way. You're going to push yourself to the next level. Say push. I didn't say just. What are those things at the airport? You just get on, and it just moves. That's what some those walkers, right? You just get on, it just moves you.
People movers.
People movers. It's not a people mover. You gotta push. You gotta push to the big goals, you guys. All right. So who's ready to push? It's gonna demand more from yourself than anybody else can. That's what it means. When you demand more of yourself than anybody else can, that is true power. That is when you're truly powerful. When you will demand more of yourself than anybody else demands for you. So all it takes is deciding. It's the root of decision comes from, this is what I learned. This was really cool. The root, I didn't know this. The root of decision, does anybody know where it comes from? Like the Latin root word of decision? Comes from cutting off. Cutting off. So see, when you decide, you cut out all other possibilities. Cut out all other possibilities. This goes back to, remember, week 2 of that power visualization of being certain, the certainty. People don't take action because of fear and the failure of success. But the only way to overcome that is to take action on that fear, right? So I want you to think about this, for example. Could you be up at 6 a.m., those of you that tell yourself you're not a morning person? Could you be up at 6 a.m. and be ready for a powerful day with energy and a good attitude? Could you? Could you? Could you? Could you? Could you? I'm not talking to anybody. Okay. You could have more influence over your children than anybody else. Could you?
Yes.
Could you have more influence? Could you? Yes. See, this is a decision. This is a decision, you guys. Okay. You could obtain a goal in this next year that seems so out of reach that see few people do. And it's not what we can do, but it's what we will do. It's not what we can. That was that whole exercise, you guys. It's not about what you can do. You can do way more. You're tapping into such a small percentage of your potential. It's not what you can do. It's what we will do. It's what we're going to decide that we're going to do because in our mind, we saw us going further because we wanted to. And so we see it and we decide, right? That's why this meditating and mental exercise of seeing yourself reaching the goal before it happens, seeing you living the life, seeing all those things that you want and you have goals and dreams about, you've got to see it in your mind and then make a decision and act on it with imperfect action. So few people will do this. You've got to take action in spite of fear. It's like a muscle, okay? If you create a muscle, you start small, right? You don't create like I don't even know what you would bench press, but like you wouldn't start with a huge, huge weight to bench press. You start with a little bit and you build every day, like 30 days. Okay, write down 30 days, because I already told you throughout today we're going to write some stuff down. So get a clean sheet of paper, and you got to write some of those. This is going to be the first thing on your end sheet of paper or like your, homework or whatever, okay? 30 days. Like 30 days, for example, right? Couldn't you get stronger if you did something every day for 30 days? Then it feels effortless to do once what you were so fearful of. Warm chatting. Do you think if you warm chatted every day, by day 30, how would you feel about it? Different than you feel today? Do you think it would be as scary to go up and hand a card to somebody? What if you did your power hour 30 days? Could you get on the phone easier? Would the phone feel lighter? Would you feel less nervous, less fearful, more confident 30 days from now? Most people never get to the 30 days. Take so many doing so little to make so few of us look so good. People at the top of anything are not smarter, are not more talented, are not more gifted. They're more willing. That's it. They're more willing to be consistent for 30 days. That's it. They don't make the excuses. They just figure it out. So, who can be consistent for 30 days? Prove it. Prove it to yourself. Nobody else. Prove it to yourself. Okay, so time to make the decision, to make decisions, follow through on them. Yes? Say follow through. Write down follow through. Because you've all made decisions and set goals before. The only reason you wouldn't have hit it is because you did not follow through after you made the decision to do it. And number 3, Notice what you're getting from your actions. This is the third thing to really be able to have ultimate success in your life. So number 1 is know your outcome. Number 2 is to use it. And number 3 is to notice what you're getting from your actions. Once you know what you want and you get yourself to take action, most people will fail more than anybody else. I want you to think about baseball. I shared this yesterday on the area call. You know, if you're thinking about baseball and the Hall of Famers, like the best of the best of the best, do you know that they only succeed 3 out of the 10 times? So 7 out of 10 times they fail. So 30% of the time they're successful. The best of the best. Think about that. And what is the number 1 cause of fear? What is the number 1 fear for people? Failure. I hear it all the time. Why people don't go for directorship, why they don't go for national, why they don't put themselves out there and go big time, because they're scared they're going to fail. They're scared they're going to put the time in and not make it. They're going to try and they're going to fail. So what? What I'm saying to you is you have to fail. You have to fail. You have to have some horrible parties. You're going to have some team members quit. You're going to have people be horrible to you, but then you're going to have people be wonderful to you, and there's going to be so much great. But you got to understand you're going to have fails. You're going to have people say no. You're going to have people give you the wrong numbers. You're going to have show up at the door and people aren't going to be there. I mean, I've been through it all, you guys, okay? So, but see, if you make the decision, if I knock on her door and she doesn't answer, does my decision change? No. If that person doesn't show up at the meeting, if I get a really nasty text message from my guest like I did this week, does that change my decision? You guys, we go through it all. Many of you know I had 6 guests confirmed, right? How many showed up? 3. How many left before it was over? 2 out of the 3. So stop thinking that because I have some magic fairy dust. Sometimes like, Amy, you gotta come to this interview. I know you can. What do you think? I have some magic like pink fairy dust? I'm gonna sprinkle on that, right? But seriously, I'm just telling you guys, the same stuff happens to me. I worked the numbers and half showed up and 2 left. And 1 was not nice. It happens. Who cares? So what? Move on, right? I'm not going to let rude people or, you know, people, whatever. I mean, and the 2 weren't rude that left. They had spray. Exactly. There you go. That's why we need to spray. You just spray them. You just spray them, you guys. Okay. All right. Huh? Yeah, that's a little hard. There you go, right? There we go. We do that. Okay. So notice what you're getting from your actions. So think about it. Failing. Ultimate failure is not trying at all. See, ultimate failure is not going for it. It's not going for directorship. It's not going for those goals that you want to in your heart is telling you to go for. So you got to get yourself to take action. You got to get yourself to follow through and know if it's working or not. Am I getting closer to my goal or further away? If you're getting closer to your goal, is it working? Yes. If you're getting further away from your goal, is it not working? Correct. It's not working. All right? So if you set out a goal 6 months ago to be a director and you're not getting closer to that, guess what? It's not working. It's not working. You don't want to get locked into, tunnel vision of things because you think, oh, I've done this before. And see what happens, you can just start to get into the motion of, oh, I'm going to do my power, I'm going to do this, and get in that thing. But you guys, you also have to always be focused on the results and the outcome, right? What matters? The outcome. Where do we start? Everything starts with focusing on the outcome first. So instead of just knowing what you want and taking action, you can do something called role modeling. That's what I call role modeling. So, for example, this is what I do when I get nervous. You know, we'll tell you if I get in here. When we talk about budget stuff, I start scratching. So now y'all know one of my little nuances that I have. So, if I want to lose weight, okay, we're going to make some commitments. I'll just let you know this is going to be one of mine. And it's really hard. It's really hard. Okay. So, but I have tried before. Yes. And if you've known me for a longer time, it's why I have like 8 different sizes in my closet. And my weight will go up and down, you know? So, but sometimes, you just get there and you just get frustrated because you've tried many things and maybe you feel like you really don't know, what to do. So what do? Keep trying what I've been doing and keep failing? No. I'm going to go find somebody that has lost weight and have kept it off and that, I could go and get advice from and find out what she's eating, what she's doing, all that kind of stuff, right? Because she's doing it. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So instead of just keep you know, if you keep doing what you're doing and getting results, it's like I just keep walking into this wall. I just keep walking into this wall. I just keep walking into this wall, right? Versus role modeling is I pivot and I go ask advice to somebody who can help me to get there. Make sense? So, tomorrow I am going to lunch with Barbara Sundin. Very excited. Actually, I'm going to our house. We're having lunch. And because this is somebody who I admire, and because I'm not getting the results I want to get, and so she got the results that I want to have, and so therefore I'm going to have role modeling time with her. Does that make sense, you guys? You have to find somebody who has what you want, and again, if you're willing and ready, remember, got to be ready and willing to go and say, I want to have what you have, or get this weight off, or have this success, or have this goal that you have, or be in this position that you're in a position. Tell me what to do. Tell me what to do. So that's called role modeling. But don't waste that person's time if you're not really going to do it, right? If you're not going to do it. Barbara Sundin, our #1 national, and the reason her and Newberry and people have taken the time with me when I ask is because they know I will apply it. I get time with amazing people. Because because yes, they believe in me, but also because I've shown with consistency that I will take what they learn and I apply it. And that's who people want to role model too. So I believe people succeed because they are doing the same things over and over and over again. Keep planting the same seeds, we will get the same fruit. So if you're planting seeds and seeing fruit, keep doing it. If you're planting seeds and not seeing fruit, that's when you a lot of times need to have that role model. So are you seeing the results you want? Yes or no? If not, go find a role model, ask to meet with them, find out what they are doing, and then you're going to do what? You're going to do the same thing. Say the same thing.
Same thing.
It's not kind of the same thing. Not a quarter of the same thing. But you're going to do the same exact thing. Do you know, and I can say this because this person's not participating in the program, but I told somebody specific advice, right? And it was so interesting. I was like, okay, you're going to follow up and do this, and then you're going to do this, okay? And then I get a text back, and it was so interesting. And not that she didn't intentionally not want to do that thing, but she goes, oh yeah, and then I'm going to, and I'll just give it, and she's a newer consultant, so, you know, it's fine, but it was so interesting how people don't take the exact thing you tell them to do. She wasn't going to get the result. So, for example, we had, okay, so I'll just tell you, we did a phone interview with somebody, and we basically had an action plan for that person to do. And so I told the recruiter, I said, okay, so-and-so, you're going to go follow up. Like I said this on the interview with the three of us on the phone. All right, great. That's what you're going to go do. And then Susie Q, who was the recruiter person, you're going to call her tonight, and say, bop, 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 okay? And then there was somebody else that she was going to meet with tomorrow. And I said, great, when you meet with that person and she signs, because she felt like she was going to sign, I said, schedule a party tomorrow with her, pick a date. So she texts me and she goes, okay, yeah, when I meet with her tomorrow, and then by Monday I'll have the guest list. Or by Monday we'll have scheduled her first party. Did I tell her by Monday schedule the first party? What did I say?
Tomorrow.
When you're sitting with her tomorrow, you're going to schedule it. And then she said, yeah, so-and-so, she'll let me know when she figure it out. Da-da-da. I'm like, hello. This was nothing what I told you to do. And so do y'all see how that can be aggravating? I told you exactly what I know, and so I messaged her back. I said, no, I need you to do exactly what I'm telling you to do in order to get the outcome that you want to get, right? So that's why it's so important, you guys, because people, again, you have to be teachable. You have to listen and hear, because the people that have gone before you that have what you want, guess what? They can tell you how to have the outcome. But if you take that outcome and you distort it, you're not going to get the outcome. It's that freaking simple. So you're going to find out what this person what they did. If Tammy, who lost her that weight, if she says, okay, you can't eat past 6 p.m. and I eat at 8 p.m., but I eat fruit instead of whatever, am I doing exactly what she told me to do? No. So then 6 months go by and I'm like, Tammy, I did what you told me to do. And I'm not getting the results. I didn't lose my 10 pounds like you said I would. Because I didn't follow exactly what she told me to do. If I want to get the same results, I've got to do exactly the same things. So, are you seeing results or not? Find the role model. I think about this often, the wilderness. Many of we know about this biblical, story, and I'm actually, one of the books, I stopped reading it, but I got to get back. I'm almost done with it, but it's actually in the wilderness. I think it's in my room. So think about it like this. Do you want to take 40 years or 11 days to have your outcome? But so many of us we're not going down that path. We're doing the things to take us 40 years to be able to do that. So go ask someone and don't try to figure it out our way in the long way. If you keep trying to figure out your way, you just keep walking into the wall. It's going to take you 40 years, and you just keep walking in the wall for 40 years. That's miserable, right? Instead of pivoting and going to somebody who can help you get to where you want to be and say, oh, hey, I'm going to get there in 11 days now instead of the 40. So knowledge is not power, it's potential. Plenty of us have knowledge. It's potential, not power. Do you know people who know what to do, but they're not applying it? Let me ask you again. Do you know people who know what to do, but are not applying it? Right? Maybe you know them very personally. Maybe very intimately you know them, okay? So knowledge is not enough. We have to get ourselves to follow through. I remember when I was ready, I was really ready. I went to Daisha and I said, Daisha, I am ready. I am ready to be a director. I'm like, tell me what to do. I will do exactly what you tell me to do. She told me, Amy, do not go to bed Monday through Friday without 5 and 2. You need 5 new leads a day and 2 new bookings, okay? I left. I started at WIN immediately because I went to her when I was ready. The teacher shows up when the student appears, or right? Is that how it goes? Mm-hmm. So I went and I did that exactly. And so do y'all know, after doing exactly what that role model told me, within 12 months, my life looked very different. I had left that corporate job I was miserable at. I was driving a free car. I was a sales director, getting ready to earn my Cadillac. Life was very different. And do you know, by 24 months after that conversation, my life was looking very similar to Daisha's career path. I became the #1 director of Florida like she was. I did the million the second year just like she did. We're one of less than 10 people who have ever done that. Why? Because I did exactly, say exactly, I did exactly what Daisha told me to do, and I got exactly those same results during that same time period, you guys. This business works. You got to find somebody who is where you are, doing it and doing it. So I want you to know a lot can change after 30 days. I share that with you to inspire you to know it doesn't take forever. I didn't say it took me 20 years, right? Within 12 months, a lot had changed. And within 24 months, a ton had changed in my life. So I want you to know it really starts with that first 30 days. The first 30 days is key. It's the glue that holds everything together. It's extremely critical because those 30 days are the hardest. But once you get past those 30 days, you've got it into motion and you've created now the habits. So a lot can change after 30 days. So we're going to be excited about that because we're getting ready to start the new year. So why not say, I'm going to start now. I'm going to start now to create that. I'm telling you guys, it's going to be easy. Is it going to be hard? Yes. Is it going to be worth it? Yes. Okay. But you've got to push through those 30 days that are going to be tough. So I had to mentally change my thought process of booking and warm chatting. I had to see the outcome. I was looking at Daisha's life, and that's what I wanted. So I wanted that more than I didn't want to get my 5 and 2, because trust me, I didn't want to do that. And she told me, Amy, you won't have to do this forever, but you're going to have to do this for now. And so that also, okay, I can wrap my brain on to do this forever. So a lot happened. You can go from broke to meeting your dreams. Mm-hmm. Who's excited about that? Mm-hmm. So this is serious stuff, you guys. If it's that simple, how come not everybody does it? If you can really make a quantum leap in your life to going from just not in a good place to a phenomenal place, how come not everybody does it?
Not believe.
People get caught up. I got to pay my bills. I got to make a living. Right? I hear people, and it's hard when someone shares the dreams and then they don't act through. I used to take it very personally. Sometimes people didn't want to be in my life anymore because it made them feel bad that they were giving up on their dreams. And they knew I knew their dreams bad. They knew they weren't willing to do it. See, I hear that when people go, well, I can't really put in the time right now because I gotta have this job because I gotta survive. I can't really go all in because I gotta pay this. I mean, do you think successful people, that's what they were doing? No, they took leaps of faith. They took risks. So they get to their end of life and they only reach 10% of their potential. If that's how they're living. Is that what you want? No. That's why you guys are here. So we got to accept it, or it's time to take action and follow through. Because if you don't follow through, that's the reality of how life's going to be. So I know because you're here, you're participating in this, you want more. So we have to have some breakthroughs. We have to break through those fears that stop you. And the biggest one again is failure, right? So failure can be our best friend. Some of the greatest success stories are from people who had so much pain from failure that that's what actually drove them to even greater success. So I want you to welcome frustration. Say, welcome frustration. Welcome. You are welcome here, okay? So welcome that frustration. When you're frustrated, it's because your brain is about to have a breakthrough. See, the frustration is getting your brain, it's getting the creative juices, right, going. Because your brain is searching for what? What is your brain searching for when you're frustrated? Exactly, answers. Solutions. I need a new answer when you're frustrated. So that's exciting, okay? I'm excited. I'm a little frustrated. So I'm excited to go meet with Barbara tomorrow. Because I have been searching for new answers. I'm excited to ask her about some of those things. So pain can drive us to success. When people succeed, they seem to party. When people fail, they seem to ponder. And it's many times during pondering we create the most successful times in our lives. So changing yourself is the first step in changing your business. So go to that piece of paper again, because I'm going to give you your first assignment to help you apply this. So I know we're done, but again, you're not doing the homework for points. You're doing it to change your life, yes? Yes. So back to that paper, and you're going to share this thing tonight, okay, with each other. So this is the first step, and then we're going to get into the last thing tonight about how to create massive action. So the first step in assignment is identify 2 actions that you have been putting off. 2 actions that you've been putting off that you know you should do or you need to do, but you keep putting it off. Maybe it's booking, like every day doing your power hour. Maybe it's warm chatting. Maybe it's just following through. Maybe it's exercise. Maybe it's you haven't been diligent with your quiet time. Maybe you haven't done your 6 most important list. You haven't been willing to do a weekly plan sheet. Maybe you haven't been healthy eating. Maybe you just you need to talk to somebody you've had poor communication with. So think of 2 actions that you've been putting off. And if you were to do them now, these 2 things would increase the quality of your life. So if you would do these 2 things, it would increase the quality of your life. And it would increase your self-esteem because you would follow through and maybe even more powerfully. 2 things that you know if you did them right now, it would increase the quality of your life. So we're going to decide I'm going to write these 2 things down. And you're going to cut off any other possibility. Remember? That's what deciding is. It means you cut off any other possibility. Don't you bring those pastries around. I can't eat those cupcakes.
Oh, this is totally different.
I can't eat
Take them home with me.
Okay. I'm not eating them.
I'm eating them.
So you have to decide. You got to decide right now. Not tomorrow, because that's what happens. That's why I have 20 pounds that I used to not have, okay? Because in the moment, you cannot do what you want in the moment. That's what messes you up. You can't go watch that TV show that you want to go watch. You got to go make that power hour. Because guess what? You watch that show today, you live the life of nowhere tomorrow, okay? So it's starting now. That's what a decision is. It's right now. It's on the way home tonight. You call those 5 women you've been wanting on your team. It's been on your chicken list. I don't care if it's 11 o'clock at night. Who knows? We'll see. Okay. Decide. And no other possibility. This is it. Okay. Because there's tremendous power. There is tremendous power then. So these 2 decisions you have made, and again, we're going to do it right now. Do not put it off another minute. Okay. Whatever you decide, it's starting right now. Which person next to you right now? Right now, not tomorrow. We can throw those away. We can go donate them. We can give them to the kids. Okay, look, this is just for me. So I'm a big believer, and once you decide and make the decision, you should immediately do something to start making progress towards it so you don't lose it. And that's why we're going to make these decisions tonight. We're going to make some commitments tonight while we're in the state, right? Because you're in here, you're in the mind. This is why I always tell you, you guys have heard it. If you've ever been to an event with me, what do I tell you? before you go home, like at seminar, at Field of Power, go get by yourself on the balconies. I can tell you my most powerful moments are when I'm in a hotel and I'm in the balcony, I'm in the bathroom, I'm down in the hotel lobby at 3 a.m. when everybody else is sleeping. Because you've got to make those decisions right then. You can't wait until you go home. So make the decision, follow through, and then you're going to check in daily. So we're going to check in daily. So I'm going to challenge you guys. I'm going to leave the Pacesetters Voxer up, and I want to encourage you to check in daily. And you're also going to have an accountability partner. Okay, so you're going to check in with a group, and you're going to have an accountability partner for 30 days. So what if I try and fall off? Some of you may be thinking. Okay, who cares? Just go for it, because you're going to be learning along the way. Just go for it. Do it now. Pick yourself back up. So, one of the things through this whole thing, I've really wanted to, be able to coach you guys to get the right mindset and to have that success and think like a successful person. So one of the things I want to tell you is that when you're done with this, I don't care where you're at in any business, whatever business it is, everybody needs a coach. Everybody will be better with a coach. So if you don't have a coach right now, find again a coach. It could be your director, whatever. For you, everybody needs a coach, you guys. Yes? I'm telling you, it makes everybody better. Accountability makes everybody better, because when you make that decision, right? I know that if I have to track my food, if I have to, text Barbara or Rachel and I were doing this for a while, if I have to text somebody what I'm eating, and am I going to be more likely to eat that pastry or not? Not. So are you better with accountability? Yes. So again, stop resisting. Resisting is the opposite of a teachable spirit. Okay, so the last part of training tonight is how to motivate ourselves when we leave here. How to motivate ourselves to massive action. Okay, so do we need to review real quick here that third? So for goal setting, to have the ultimate success in life with goal setting, know your outcome, right? We got to start with the end result. What do we want? Then we got to use it, and then we got to notice what you're getting from your actions. And if you're not getting the results, get the role model to move forward. So now, how to motivate ourselves to take massive action, because when you leave here, and yet your accountability partner is not, no one's in charge of you but you, all right? No one's in charge of you but you. You have got to learn to motivate yourself. If you don't learn how to motivate yourself, you will never achieve anything great in life. Got to learn to motivate yourself. So how do you motivate yourself to massive action? Who wants massive action? All right, I hope. I told you guys that from day one, if we don't see massive action and outcomes and results from you, then this program, and that would be very upsetting for me. Okay, because right, we put in a lot of effort. It should be upsetting for you. You got to see outcome, you guys. You've got to see results. So here's what we're going to do to have massive action. You've got to extract what you have learned here and apply this. And I'm going to teach you how to do that. And whenever and after seminar, okay, well, seminars in like 30 days, and so that's why I'm super excited. Literally, it's in 30 days almost to the T. Okay, a little bit longer. But so that's what's so exciting, is for us to start this 30-day accountability, because when you go to seminar, guess what? It's not what happens in these 30 days, it's where your mindset is when you go to seminar. So when you go to an event and your mindset, you just discipline yourself for 30 days, how much more powerful is the outcome of seminar for you? And when you go into seminar, again, that beginning of your attitude and that mindset that I'm going to, oh my goodness, I'm going to get so much out of this seminar. I am going to learn so much. I am going to gain so much wisdom. I am going to grow so much. I am going to know exactly what I need to do when I leave here. See, right? Remember that. The beginning of your attitude before you go is going to be key. So anytime after workshops, we're going to extract that information. So there are a ton of people out there that will be smarter and more gifted. But I can tell you, as somebody who grew up with teachers telling me that I was going to have learning problems and told my parents that it was very hard for me to learn. It was very hard for me to learn, and I had to study longer and harder than anybody else that I knew. But I'm grateful for that now, because what I learned from that was that it's not about who's the smartest. It's about who will be willing and who will work hard and who will apply themselves for that. Okay, so yes, so it's how you apply yourselves, yes? Okay, that's it. In life, the people are going to succeed are the people that will apply, not the smartest, not the most gifted. So it's the level of application. So it's applying what we've learned here. So never leave a site without having a plan to apply what you've learned. So I don't want any of you ever to go to any workshop, any event, whether it's a all-day event, whether it's a 4-day event, whatever. Don't ever leave that place without knowing exactly what your plan is, exactly what the outcome, and doing exactly what I'm getting ready to tell you to do. Because if not, you really won't get as much out of it as you can. So when you're in state is when you want to make the commitment, and then you're going to follow through with that resolution. So that's what we're doing today, right? Because we're in the state, we're in the mindset right now. So it's here and right now, and no other time that we want to make that commitment to follow through on this resolutions to get results and accountability. I want you to write that down, because that is the resolution, is results and accountability. Results and accountability. So make up your mind now while you're in the right state of mind to do something. Must do. That means you'd be booking, getting your day book filled up in the next 24 hours, all right? We all know, I guarantee 100%, and you guys can ask me about this later, I guarantee one of the things Barbara Sundin is going to tell me about, we're going to talk about a lot about developing leaders, she's going to tell me, Amy, if they don't have 10 on their book, don't waste your time. I guarantee you Barbara Sundin's going to tell me that. They don't have 10 on their book. Why are you wasting their time? Because they don't want it, Amy. I'm telling you. She's a straight shooter. She's a high D. She will tell me that tomorrow. I guarantee. Who wants to bet that she's going to tell me that? Okay? So you guys know, if you're serious, that is the first step. Who's resisted that? Okay? That was my problem for a year, and why it took me a year to get my red jacket. So stop acting like you don't know. Don't resist the things. Know the outcome. See, if you know the outcome, you'll be willing to do what you haven't been willing to do. True? Yes? Mm-hmm. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So make up your mind now. Then you're going to book the next 24 hours. You're going to get an accountability partner. You're going to set up mentorship. You're going to contact the 5 women you want to recruit now. Whatever it is, get into action. Make a list of those women you want on your team. Do it now. Do it now. Anything that comes into your mind, or you can think of when you're thinking about your business, where do you put it? Okay? So when you're thinking about something to do, like what I just said, oh, okay, I'm gonna book, I'm gonna make those lists, or I gotta do this for my business, or I gotta do that. Where do you keep track of that? How do you?
Your 6 most important lists.
Okay. So what is that, a notebook? Is that on a phone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Anybody else?
There's one in
Okay. But anything else? Any other place that, like, if you're driving down the car or something comes into a mind, it's an idea in your business, maybe you're in the shower, maybe you're on a walk and something pops in your mind. Okay, so it doesn't have to be something you planned out. I mean, things pop in your mind all the time, probably, right? So how do you keep track of those things, those ideas that pop into your mind?
Electronic notes on my phone.
Okay, so a note place on your
I
phone.
set calendar reminders if it's something that's specific day, time, someone I want to call. I'll set it up. I'm like, okay, well, I'm at work. I know I'm at home 7 o'clock. I'll set my alarm for 7 o'clock, and then I label it, call so-and-so.
And that was kind of the part 2 of what I was going to ask you. You know, where do you find it? Because how many of you have ever made lists and then you can't find it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or you had that good intention to do something with it, but then you don't know when you didn't plan when to do it and to do that. So sometimes we get all this great information, but when we have these notes or lists, we can get overwhelmed. Yes?
Mhm.
Okay, who's ever been overwhelmed? And what happens when we're overwhelmed? We shut down. We do nothing, right? Our brain, we freeze, we have panic attacks, we cry, go into that crazy mode. All right, so what we just said is how important it is to apply it right away, right? Okay, so here's a few steps and how you're going to do that. Number 1, I think I'm giving you 4, is it 4 steps? 3 or 4 steps? I think it's 3. Okay, number 1 is you're going to capture. Capture, okay? So let's just I'm going to use this program as an example because this is the most fresh thing that you've done. And then you'll be able to take this and then you'll apply this after seminar as well. So number 1 is capture, which means that, okay, just kind of, let me just think like in your mind. Okay, just let's all pretend. Okay, we just capture. Just kind of physically picture. Put your hands. Okay, I'm just capturing. Got it. Got all this information. Okay, everybody say, okay, it's all in your mind. I got it. Right, it all comes out of your nose and you capture it, okay? Physically see yourself capturing it. You've got to be in one place. It has to be, you've got to get all this stuff in one place, all right? So when you're going through your notes, and I'm kind of, and here, I'm going to kind of use this as an example, but I'm also going to use to kind of explain this concept with you preparing for this new year. because one of the things, and many of you know that I do this and I talk about it every time at the new year, so I'll be doing this over the next couple of weeks, is I will have appointments with myself. And it usually, as many of you know, you've heard me talk about, it takes me 3 days. All right, I never do them back to back because life doesn't work like that, right? But I'll really look at it and I'll say, okay, which reminds me right now, I'm gonna go ahead and schedule those 3 days and look at when they're gonna be. I usually do them end of June, beginning of July. I like to have it done by kind of that first week of July. I don't like it to go past then. If I can do it before then, I like to do it. So depending on how my June is, I will do that. But I'm going into a lot of detail and when I'm doing these 3 appointments is what I'm talking about tonight. I'm thinking about what I want my outcome to be in that next year. So again, it starts with what? We always start with what? The outcome, okay? So I write down, maybe you heard me talk about this, my 3 to 4 priorities, okay? And so let's just say, you know, family, personal, business, relationships, okay? So you pick those, you know, 4 things. Or anytime you know, just make a long list, you can kind of apply this too. But just to kind of give you some examples of how to do this. So when you don't have it all down, the point is you need to get everything down, okay? So how many of you just had like this really long list, right? You just sit down because you know you're overwhelmed, you got a bunch of different things going on, so you just sit down and make a list of everything, all right? So when you don't have it down on paper, where is it? In your head, okay? And when it's in your head, that causes mental stress. So you have to look at it consistently. You have to look at it weekly and review it so you can do something with it. So right now, I want you to pick that time, 2 hours every week. When are you going to meet with yourself? Every week. I'm telling you guys, if you don't, you've got to understand the value of these 2 hours to meet with yourself every week. This is life-changing stuff. You can find it. You found 2 hours to be here every week, find 2 hours. Because you got to look at this stuff. This is why a year goes by and people achieve nothing great and significant in their life. Who's had a year like that? Right? You all have. So you've got to look at it consistently, because the point is you can write down your goals, you can write down your stuff, but if you're not keeping that in front of you and you're not evaluating and reflecting on it all the time, nothing's going to happen with it. You just kind of just stays out there in the universe somewhere. So we got to look at it weekly and review that so you can have something with it. And so, you know, Will was funny. He heard me the other day, I guess it was last week, talking about reflecting. And he's like, what are you doing this reflecting time? 2 hours? What would you do? I was like, honey, I take 6 hours. He's like, really? You know, because men are very different, right? It's like they have 3 things on their mind, you know? So, all right. So we have a lot, right? As women, as moms, as wives, as community, as friends. And so, you know, it's like all this stuff. So again, that's why we can get so overwhelmed and they don't understand, right? It's just, they're like, just who cares? Mm-hmm. So who has made a list? Maybe, you know, 6 most list, and then you stop doing it. Okay, and how many of you have more to do than you have time to do it? So our mindset, again, is capturing, and it's not going to be able to do all of this now. This is why we get overwhelmed and discouraged and frustrated, is because there's no way we can do all that stuff on that list, and we can't do it right now, but our mind says, yes, I want to do it right now, but then we realize we can't do it all right now, and that's when that, you know, all that stuff starts happening in your body. So the job here is not getting all these things done. So I want you to understand, you're not going to get it all done. It's to take you to a higher way of thinking with what I'm about to tell you to do with this. To get more of what you want, because you will be more intentional about what that is if you are meeting with yourself and reviewing, reflecting, and then applying. I'm going to say that again. The job is not to get everything done on this list. I'm not going to teach you how to get all this stuff done. What I'm going to do is to teach you how to take you to a higher way of thinking to get more out of what you want, because you're going to be more intentional about what that is. You're going to be clear about what the outcome and, again, what that stuff is that you want by meeting with yourself regularly and by reviewing, reflecting, and then applying. Be able to better prioritize and accomplish the bigger things, because remember, most people major in the minor things. And what this is going to do is to teach you to do the opposite. No more minoring, no more majoring in the minor things. We're going to major in the major things. Okay, so that's number 1, is capturing it, getting it all down, right? So whether that's notes, okay, this could be notes from all this stuff that you've been doing, right? You've already captured all the information from this program. You may need to go back, and I would tell if you missed any of the YouTube stuff I told you to watch, any of their homework, go back and do that. Don't miss any of those things. Because you never know. It could be the book that you read here. It could be one of the YouTube videos, something I said, who knows what it is. But there will be something in this program. But remember, you got to do exactly what I told you to do. Don't miss any of those things. If you missed any of that homework, that one thing you missed could have been the one thing to give you the shift. Okay? So don't miss that. So now you're capturing. Same thing when you plan out your new year. When you come up with your priorities, right? You make your list of all the family stuff of your goals. You make the list of all your personal goals, all your career goals, okay? And you're gonna have all that list, just a list of all the things that you want to accomplish. So once you have your list, you've captured everything. Number two, second step is to create a plan. And I'm gonna teach you how to create this plan. How you're gonna create the plan is there's 3 questions you have to ask yourself to help you create the plan. So I'm gonna give you these 3 questions, and then there's 3 actions. So you have to have 3 questions and then 3 actions. So to create the plan, again, the capture the list, right? That's, you have that as the first step. That's not the first question, but that's going to prepare you for the first question. So you're going to read all the stuff on your list. Okay, I just started coming up with it. But okay, on your list, for example, it could be clean the house, do this for the kids' school. You may have to, spend time with my husband, follow up with this person, have to sign up my kids for dance camp, get these forms in for VPK, put these gifts for my friends for the new baby and order it from Amazon, book my flight for seminar, donate to the charity I committed to, the new calendar for my mom's group, call the hotel about fall retreat, my accounting stuff, my budgeting stuff for the new year, categorize this stuff. This all relates, right? I mean, we all have all that stuff. So you have this crazy list of all these different things, but then I want you to separate them in groups, okay? So for example, there are certain things on there, bless you. This relates to my family. All this relates to the kids stuff. All this relates to my career stuff, okay? This relates to my personal stuff. So you can then now separate them into categories once you have your list, okay? Because again, it feels good because you will get it out of your head. So now back to the plan. The first question to help you create your plan, number 1, is, what do I want? Question mark. What do I want? Because this now creates the outcome. Okay, that's where everything starts where? With the outcome. That's step 1. Okay, baby. Remember, mommy's in a meeting. Say hi and then bye, okay? Okay. So what do I want? So you're going to group some things together by categories, all right? And then now this all, your children business, talk about that. Okay, so what happens, you guys, when you do this is this list of 50 things now turns into 4, right? Now you just have 4 groups of things. And so automatically your mind feels less overwhelmed because you've grouped them. So something for my family, something for my kids, something for my business, something for me. And what this does, it really helps you to see what is most important for your kids. So then you're going to take that group. So you do the same thing when you're doing this with your notes, with your year-long stuff and your goals. Okay, so now, so like for example, when I do the stuff for my goals for my kids for this year, or the stuff I want to do with them for the summer, so I have on this list. Okay, so for example, one of the things right now is I got to get Sawyer some BPK stuff done for her, and I got to get her in speech camp, and I got to get a person to work with her one-on-one for speech right now. And I have stuff that I printed out these, or I didn't print them out. I have them on my phone. I looked them up for like summer projects on, things to do with the kids or whatever. Okay, so what would be the things that I would make star just out of those things? Are some things more urgent?
Yes.
Than others?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so what's not that urgent?
The crafts.
The
But
crafts.
the VPK is very important.
Correct, right? The VPK, the speech camp starts next week, so clearly that's urgent. But I have to I've already been working on that with the paperwork and the evaluation and all that stuff, but I gotta, get in the last part to actually get her there, okay? So, looking at that, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna star the things that are urgent. And here's how you're gonna star, and it's not always by a time frame. Sometimes that, buddy, come here, buddy. Sometimes, like in that example, because camp is next week, it has to be urgent. But a lot of times, if it's not like a timely thing, how do you decide what's urgent or what's not? here's what you're gonna do. When you're making the decision on what to star and what to choose to be urgent, you're gonna ask yourself this. What is the 20% that's gonna give me the 80% of my outcome? Okay, so for example, with my kids, when I sit down and set my goal, I don't just write kids. I write, okay, so, I want to raise my kids to be strong Christians, to be kind to others, and whatever. I'm going to make this thing up, right? So I'm clear on my outcome. But that, you can't just put that out there. It has to be tangible. It has to be trackable. All right, you guys, this is the key part. Else you're just setting these goals and they just sound good, but unless it's measurable and trackable. So you have to, once you come up with a list, in your mind, your outcome, you have to say, because this is a rule in life, 20% of this effort gives you 80% of the result. Okay? So you've got to make sure that you're clear on every category. When you go to sit down, the first thing is you look at what out of this category will give me 80% of the result. Right? In your career, that's simple, right? And Mary Kay, what would be some of those 20%?
So, booking.
Booking and
Booking
leads.
and leads. All right, you guys know
That's
that.
like number one.
Okay.
Booking and leads.
Right, booking and leads, absolutely, would be doing that. So when you sit down in your career to schedule your priorities and your plan for this new year, and booking and leads, right? You're gonna come up with the time, like, okay, where are my bookings gonna come from? When am I gonna book every day? When's that power hour gonna be? How, where am I going to do it at? Right? Because if you can't do it while the kids are all around you. Okay, I lock myself in the closet and the kids are sleeping, whatever. You figure out that time of when you're going to do it. Where am I going to warm chatter, right? And you figure that out. How am I going to get 25 leads? What is my marketing strategy? Your marketing strategy is how are you going to meet new people? How are you going to meet new people, you guys? No goal can happen without us meeting enough people. So you pick that out, and then you know exactly that's the 20%. So if you focus on the 80%, you get 20% of the outcome. Yeah? Does that make any sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yes? Okay. So you have your list, you star it. Is anybody confused? Everyone has a good understanding? Okay.
Okay.
Huh?
I don't know. You said
Look, yeah.
What 20% gives you 80%. But you just said 80% gives you 20%.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah, I thought the same thing.
So that.
Sorry. So you're
Okay.
looking at your list and you're saying, what 20% is going to give me 80% of the outcome?
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay. So. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Yeah. An example, you guys. Some of and this is how people get example. Like, I went to Disney a week ago. I haven't even done my album or posted it. Who cares? Who cares if I post those pictures 2 weeks after I go to Disney?
Right.
But see, those are the things that people get caught up in. And then that ends up, that's 80%. That's in the 80% column, but you just sacrifice the 20% to go read with your kid, or to, I didn't get to sign them up for vacation Bible camp because I was so worried about getting these pictures online. Do you see what I'm saying? But that's what happens. That's why most people aren't living an intentional life, because they're doing the 80%. And they're getting 20%. No, I want 80% with my, with the kids, okay? So what is my outcome for this week or this day? So you can't just do this with the big stuff. You got to do this with your weekly stuff and your daily stuff. And this is where your 6 most would come in. This is where your weekly plan sheet would come in. So when I sit down with myself and I do my goals and I do my prioritizing, I come up with my priorities. I come up with the outcome of the priorities that I want. Then I make the laundry list for each thing, and I start with it, 80, 20%, and then I create my schedule with that 20%. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's how I would come up with my like an ideal weekly plan sheet. So you got to get really, really clear for what you're after. You use this to take you to a higher level and have bigger vision than that daunting list that limits you. That list of 50 things, that's daunting and it limits you, versus grouping the things and then starring and prioritizing them, that will now empower you, okay? So once you know what you want, you can be more clear, and then you focus. And this is why this is so powerful, because this is gonna allow you to focus. This teaches you how to focus. When you can focus so much more when you have those 4 things than the 80 things that stress you down tremendously. So here's the 3 questions and the 3 actions. Number 1, what do you really want? How many of you would feel better just based on this language? Just say, what do I really want? Because what is the language we usually say? What do I really need to do? Oh, I really need to get some leads. I really need to get on the phone. I mean, do you feel that that just like weighs you down? Okay, so when you start with the outcome of I know that I want to lose 10 pounds. I know I want to get, I want to get my red jacket. I know I want to be on target for my car, right? You start with the outcome, and then from there you decide what that's going to look like. You will feel better about the language. So watch your language, because you really can hurt yourself by saying, oh, I need to do this. I should have done this. Don't be shoulding and justing all over yourself, okay? All right. All right? So language is important. See if you knew you wanted to be, okay, yeah, okay, so instead, right? So how would the language be different if you are sitting down and you are creating the times to warm chatter maybe, or you're setting the times that you're gonna network or coming up with that. Instead of it feeling like, oh, I've got to, this is just something I've got to do, it's more exciting. Because why? What are you thinking about now?
It changes your mindset. We learned that in the coaching class, because that, like that wheel of like if I have to, and like that cycle of
Yes.
did you ever do that? So, like, that,
Start?
yeah, that cycle, and then like changing the wording to be like, I want to, or and then just going around that cycle like that, and it made made you want to go and fulfill those wants and needs.
And what are the wants? What is the part of that that's getting you excited? Instead of thinking like, oh, I gotta make this call. Because see, when you're saying I should do that, what you're focusing on is what? The call. You're focusing on, I gotta go make these calls. I gotta go talk to these 5 women. But when you're saying I want to do that, it's why? You're focused on the outcome. You're focused on the outcome. So what's the outcome when you meet new women at a networking event or when you make the calls? What's the outcome? I just met amazing women. I just talked to somebody today. Again, I don't know what kind of video, so I forget who. Okay, but somebody that met you. See, don't come to me. But Mary told me today she met a phenomenal woman. She chatted somebody. She met her. She's meeting with her on Monday. Mary's excited, right? So that's what you guys got to think about. I'm going to go out and I'm going to meet. I can't wait. I'm going to go meet the next Maria Gloria, right? And that's what Mary said. She reminded me of Maria Gloria. Who would like to recruit a Maria Gloria, right? I'm gonna go meet this awesome woman. You've got to be thinking about the outcome and get excited about the outcome because of what you want to do. Okay, all right. So how would you feel about your life? You will feel better, right? Better thinking creates better results. What is my outcome? What am I really after? What do I really want? What is the specific thing? What is the target? We've got to focus on the results. We've got to focus on the outcome, you guys. It's not good enough to make the calls. And you guys know, I know this 21 booking revolution. I think it's brilliant and it's awesome. But don't take away from focusing on the results, okay? It's 2 bookings, not 10 calls. I'm going to get 2 bookings because that's focus on the results, you guys. It's focus on the outcome. Sometimes it takes you 2 phone calls. Sometimes it takes you 40 phone calls. It doesn't matter. Successful people focus on the outcome, on the results. I guarantee if Barbara Sona was here, she would say amen, amen, amen to that. Because I've heard her talk about focus on the results and not the activity. Activity, who cares? It's effort. It's potential. It means nothing, all right? So I want you, yes, it feels good, and the repetition of that activity builds your confidence. So yes, that is important. But we got to do that and focus on the outcome with it. So I want you to know the outcome of everything before you go into it. The outcome of the beginning of this program, right? We talked about it. You want to better your life, you have to better yourself. If you want your life to change and get better, you have to change and you have to get better. In your party, you got to go into everything. What is the outcome? Don't go into an interview. Don't go into a party. Don't go into a sales meeting. Don't go into anything. I go into everything before with prayer and then a positive expectation of that outcome that I want to have. If you don't do that, what are you going to take? You're going to get what you're going to get. Who wants to get what you're going to get, or who wants to get something powerful? Because there's, you know what I'm saying? So it's so important that we're clear on the outcome. So what is question number 1? What do I want? What is my result? That needs to be slash. What do I want slash what is my result? Because what you want is a result and an outcome. Okay, why? Because we need to measure it. So that's the other part. When you come up with your priorities, when you come up with your goals, you have a question, Nathan? Yeah, you'll ask me if you missed something. So what is your outcome? What is your result? Okay, that's all part of, that's number one.
Number one.
Okay, so again, now you've come up with your priorities. You've made your list under each one. You've starred, maybe it wasn't clear on this. Once you star it, you now make a new list. Does that make sense? You're going to leave the unstarred separately. Is everybody following?
Mm-hmm.
You have your top things, okay, or when you go through notes, same way. You would go through and subject them, right? So this may be about visualization. You may have stuff about networking. You may have stuff about people skills. So you're going to go through that, and then you're going to go back and star the stuff that's going to give you the 20% outcome, and you take those 20% and you make a new list. And that's where you're coming from your schedule. You keep that other list, but here's the deal. You may not even ever get to all that other stuff because it's not as important, which is okay when you get to that. So I need you to, once you've created your schedule based on these priorities and these high priorities things in your life, you've got to create a tracking for it. You have to have a way to measure it and to track it.
Is that number 2?
This is still under number 1.
Okay.
Oh,
You can't just say I want my kids. Sorry, you can't just say I want my kids to grow. So this is under once you've discovered what you want. Okay, you need to track. You need to find out a way that you're going to track that. You can't just say I want my kids to grow up and be emotionally healthy and kind human beings. What makes that trackable, right? I have, I do an affirmation with them daily. Okay, if we're reading about, if we read our devotionals, okay, daily. Maybe we do a volunteer project as a family once a month. Do you see how all those things are trackable? You come up with trackable things once you have all this done. How many play dates am I going to do? See, if somebody calls me and says, hey, you want to get the kids together? Maybe if I haven't done it yet, I don't just randomly do that. I know exactly how many play dates I'm going to do with my kids. I know exactly how much time I'm going to do that, right? So everything is trackable. If I read, okay, how many family outings? How many vacations are we doing? What are they? Volunteer stuff, my business stuff. I'm going to track being a director, okay? I know that all of you are in this course because you want directorship and leadership or Cadillacs. So I need to be in front of as many people as possible. That's what I hear sometimes. Okay, what's your plan? I'm just going to see as many people as possible this month. I hear that all the time. Well, I'm just going to interview as many people as I can. I'm just going to be booking. I'm just going to call as many people as I can. Is that trackable?
Yes.
It is, but is that trackable, what they're saying, what they're doing?
No.
That's just, I'm going to, remember, do my best. Doing your best is not doing whatever it takes. Whatever it takes is, here's the outcome. Here's what it's going to take to create that outcome. Yes? Who's excited? Who knows this can make a big difference if you start focusing on this stuff versus just saying, I'm going to do my best. I'm just going to make a lot of calls. So here's what that would look like. Okay. I'm going to be in DIQ. Okay. Let's just say that to give you an example, I need to add 8 women to my team. Just give you an example from whatever. That number will be different for everybody. But I need to add 8 women to my team. That means I would need to see 80 faces. Okay, when do I want to do those 80 faces? Do I want to do them in 1 month? Do I want to do them in 2 months? Do I want to do them in 3 months? Most people would probably say 2 months. That's a comfortable thing to say. So now I need to do 40 faces this month. So that would be 8 parties and 16 interviews each month I need to track. And then I'll have my 18 members and be in DIQ. 2 months. 1 month. You see how it's a decision? It's not that you don't know what to do. Here's the outcome I want. Let me figure it out what to do. If you don't know what to do, that's when you ask somebody who knows what to do. But most of you probably already knew that. You just weren't breaking it down to know exactly what that looked like. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
You need me to repeat that? Yes. Okay. So let's say you need 8 women to your, it's 10 to, I'm just saying, just use this as an example. I need 8 women to get into DIQ. So that means I need 80 faces, right? Okay, because every 10 faces, you can say it's going to get you a recruit. And then, so I break that into 2 months. I'm going to do 40 this month and 40 next month. So if you did 8 parties, that would get you in front of 40 people, with 5 people each, and 16 interviews. Okay, so 8 parties and 16 interviews. So guess what you would track? You just have a list that says 1 through 8, and you put your hostesses there. And you have another list that says what? Team building, 1 through 16. Ain't nothing fancy. I never had some fancy way to do it, but that's all. So how many of you, if you had that list of 1 through 8 and 1 through 16, you'd be more on purpose? you would probably have better effort. Because why? You knew the outcome. You knew the outcome, and then you could track it and see the progress. All right, so that's number one. Number two, to me. Why is this important to me? So number one is you know the outcome, you know what you want. Number two is why is this important to me? Why is this a must? Why? This is not something I have to do. None of you have to become a director. None of you have to earn Cadillacs. None of you have to do anything. So why is this a must for me? Why is this something I have to do? Why is this something I want to do? This is exciting to me to become a director. See, all of us will have trigger words and language that shapes our emotion. See, language, the language you tell yourself is what shapes your emotion. And when you're talking about the why you need to understand the why for yourself and the why for the team. What do we learn about in this book? Is it just your goal that matters, or does it matter to everybody that's sitting here right now? You're part of a AAA team. We're a sisterhood. We're a group of women that are working towards a similar goal all together. Yes? Mm-hmm. So your why not only impacts you and your family and your own self, but you're a part of a team. You're a part of feeling big in yourself. Mm-hmm. So your why affects your team. And the activity without purpose is the drain to your life. Activity without purpose is the drain to your life and to your wealth and to that lifestyle you hope to live. You cannot have activity without purpose. Again, you start with the outcome, understand the why you want that. And number three, what's my massive action plan? So number one is what do I want? What is the outcome? Why is this important to me? Number two and number three, what is my massive action plan to get this? See, now it makes sense what the needs to be because you are clear on what is most important and why it's important. Versus looking back at your list and making your action from stress, making your action from concern or fear or people interrupting or reaction or demands. You see the difference of taking this list and feeling stressed, oh my gosh, I have to do all this, versus starting with the outcome of what you want and why it's important. And some of you, I've told you to do this before at different times, but if you haven't, this would add this to your list if you've never done this or done this maybe in the last 90 days. Whatever that why, whatever you wrote, so let's just say it was director, why do you want it? Make a list of 25 reasons, or even 50 is even more powerful. See, the first 10 to 15 are pretty easy to come up with why you want that. But when you make that list of 25 to 50, it forces you to dig deeper. It forces you to get deeper with yourself of why this goal is not something you just, should put out there, but it's something you absolutely are going to go for 100% to do that. So this one is super important because this is how it all gets done, right? So we can come up with we can come up with a list, we can come up with our weekly plan, we can put all this together. But the massive action plan is where it all gets done. So you will take things off your capture list and group them on what's most important. Okay, so remember, after you star them, not everybody's going to come off on the schedule. That's really an important piece. All right? So some of the things are going to stay in that 80% and they're never going to get done. So you will take things off your capture list, group them on what's most important, and eventually you may look at something on that capture list and never transfer it and say, I don't really need to do that. It's really not that important because now you can see things differently. So with a plan, you take the action items and put them in a list of importance. And I look, once I've made my list, I say, what is the 20% that is going to get 80% of my results because I'm focused on results. Yes? I'm focused on results because I know that I'm not going to do all the action items because I know I will get interrupted 20 million times, right? Yes? Okay, this is why people say, well, I schedule my weekly plan sheet. After you come up with this, you're going to schedule it, you guys, but we know that kids get sick or 5 people will call me and have an interview and that wasn't on my schedule for the week, all right? You have to be flexible, with that too, but you have the plan. So now I got the most, but here's the thing. The importance is part of 80 as part of the 20% to get to 80%. Yes. So that's why I would adjust my schedule. And my kids are, you know, obviously priorities. So if they're sick, that's in that realm. But do you see how it's so easy to say no to the things that aren't there? Because now you know your outcome. So if Barbara's like, hey, let's go to the movies. Well, I've already had my girls' night out for the month. So next month we can schedule that. So, you know, I've had times where, you know, family has had stuff and I didn't go because, you know, I already had stuff I was committed to and scheduled to. Sorry, Mom and Dad, I can't do that maybe next year. You know, my dad planned something 3 years out. For me, you know, right? That's what happened. They were planning an anniversary and they told Will and I, right? In 2020 or whatever they told us, we're going to do that. But they know that that's a part. If they want us to do things, they will tell us farther out because, again, you know, when you start to plan your life out, it's important. That's what happens. So now you're getting the important stuff, the 20%, which was easy to identify, right? Because I know why I want what I want. And so now I have these 6 to 7 things most important with the kids, and I'm not going to do it all today. So I'm going to now star those 6 to 7 things to see what is most important there and what are the must items. What are the must items? So 20%, so that's how you're looking again at those stars. 20% of the items that will make 80% of the difference. Most people stop making the list because they get overwhelmed and frustrated because everything never gets done. Remember I told you that. This isn't about teaching what gets done. I come out with the outcomes and the purposes and then list, and then the list comes out of them. I'm going to say that again because most people, what do? They make the list. We're not making the list first. You're having the outcomes, right? And then you're transferring the important things from your list on there, the started things. That's important. Most people make the list. No, you have the outcomes, okay? So you come out with the outcomes and the purposes, and then the list comes out of them. So you're going to highly prioritize with what matters. So here's the 3 questions and 3 actions to wrap us up. The actions. Number 1. Star the things that are, so I'm sorry, we already did the 3 questions. These are the 3 actions.
Okay.
Is everybody good on that? Ready to repeat?
What do I want is 1. What is my massive action plan is 2.
No, why is this important to me was 2.
And then 3.
And then what's my massive action plan was 3. Okay? And then we just taught you how to make the massive action plan.
Most
Yes.
important, because it's so easy to plan it all, but you gotta do it.
Right, that's the most, right.
Oh boy.
So, yes, okay? So, what do we want? What's the outcome? Why do we want it? What's my massive action plan? So those are your 3 questions, and then here's your 3 actions. Action number 1, star the things that are a must. I kind of already said that, okay? So you're starring the things that are a must. Again, it's going to give you the results. Number 2, establish the real time. And that means going from minimum to maximum. How long will this really take? Okay? So once you've started the things that are a must, right? And now you transfer them over. So you have your 6 to 7, the ones that you just started are now under your, whatever that category is, out to under each of those 6 to 7 things. How much time is it going to take you to do that thing? Okay? How much time is it going to take you to do that thing? How long will this really take? This is important because sometimes you think it's going to take you so much longer, so much more time to do something. Again, in our mind, we overwhelm ourselves and think, oh my gosh, this is going to take me so long, when in reality, it really doesn't. So remember that example of DIQ. Many of you thought, oh my gosh, DIQ, so hard, it's going to be like a year, 8 months, yeah, I'm going to be a director by seminar. What? Why are you giving yourself till next seminar? It doesn't take 12 months to become a director. To see, when you just have a cloud of an idea in your head, it seems hard and daunting, and that you're going to need a year. You don't even have a clue of how long because you haven't broken it down. So in this example, what do we say? It's going to take you 2 months to get into DIQ. What did Barbara Sundin always say? If she was here, she'd say it takes you 30 to 60 days after you decide, after you know that that's what you want. That's why it starts with the outcome. So you thought it was going to take you, but 2 months when we broke it down, because we all overestimate when it's in our head. We got to get it out of our head and onto paper with a clear plan that's trackable. Say trackable.
Trackable.
It has to be trackable. So don't have a plan unless you have those, whatever the 50 faces, the 30 faces. Track it. Your weekly plan sheet. I always have, like I said, a general weekly one to then put those priorities in there. So when you think about that, booking daily, how long is that going to take you? An hour. Your power hour. I know y'all have heard me say that before, okay? Because it's exactly what I did. And I don't teach out of theory. I teach you guys exactly what I did. So I did a power hour daily, 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days a week. Actually, last night, with the kids, when I was putting them down for bed, we read about the 10 Commandments. And one of the things it says, you work for 6 days, and you rest on the 7th day. And I explain that to them because they see me working on Saturdays a lot of times. You know, as an entrepreneur, right? Monday, Saturday could look the same. You know, if I want to take off, I can have that choice, but I don't work on Sundays. So again, you know, teaching that, but the booking, the power hour every day. So it takes 1 hour. So if that's under your business, one of your 6 or 7 things under career, and you're probably breaking that down, I'm pretty sure that's going to probably be there. If you want to be a Mary Kay, okay? It's going to be there, all right? So that's 1 hour, okay? So that would be on there, okay? Bless you. Maybe you have warm chatting. That's another thing that's under there. How long would that probably take you? I probably put 2 hours, which would include drive time, okay? So let's just think, if you said from, because you're going to do quiet time and exercise and drop the kids off, so maybe you get into the office at 10 a.m. And from 10 to 11 a.m. you did your power hour, and then from 11 to 1 you scheduled warm chatting. So by the time you had lunch, guess what? You just did the 2 most important things you needed to do. You just did the 20% to get you to 80%. Who's excited about that? With 3 hours of work. And you need to do that work first, okay? And I think I said that in here. Let me get to that. Okay, so because you, and then the thing is, then you come home, you eat lunch, and then you may do a little bit of coaching that takes you 20 minutes. Maybe you set up an interview or go do an interview in the afternoon and follow up with some 5 customers for your 2 + 2 + 2. You're done by 4 or 5 o'clock, you guys. You just probably worked for 4 to 5 hours. Instead of your 8-hour day, you work somewhere else. See? We think we don't have time to do this. You can find 4 to 5, and this is 4 to 5 hours to create a career that's going to get you to a Cadillac, not just some extra cash. Who's excited about that? Okay? So it doesn't take you 8 hours even to have, you know, some great things happen. So what's really awesome is that by 5 o'clock on this day, when you're focused on the outcome, you could have 5 IPAs. You could have 5 IPAs in one day, and before that, you probably had 5 IPAs in a week. Let's get real, yes? Okay. So priorities, but now you have what you want, not priorities, but stress and fear. So you're being busy, 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 busy. Because before you were being busy, but you weren't being productive with the results and outcome, yes? Mm-hmm. So booking time, okay, so create a visual block. You're gonna have that visual block of time for your booking. There's no space for anything else. You're gonna create blocks of time, put the goal in front of you, have your purpose, and now you have, again, your list. Now you have your schedule and results with outcomes. So you have your block of time for booking, you have your block of time for warm chatting. And list, again, your child gets sick and you have an, you know, respectable interruption. There's no reason why, if you're committed to that outcome, that you would not get your leads and your bookings. Yes? Mm-hmm. So if you have creative endeavors, spend 60 to 90, okay. Oh, this is the study I wanted to share with you guys about, and like what I've taught you, but I found science behind it now, is doing the things that are going to create the 80% or the 20%, doing that when? When should you do it? When is it so first? This is so important to do it first, you guys. And this is what it said. I found that, like, there's so much science and study behind this. I didn't have time to go into it, but I took this one part to show you. If you have creative endeavors, spend the 60 to 90 minutes in the focus activity on that project, which would be booking with us. Okay. Research has found that your willpower is highest when you first wake up. And your brain is most attuned to creativity. Thus, if you make the time, the morning may be the time when you produce your best and most important work. So you guys, this is why we want to go label our products and call our team members and call a friend director or blah, blah, blah. No, do y'all see how this will cripple you if you don't do what you got to do first, the stuff that's going to produce the 80%. So the number 3, last thing, leverage. Okay? So the 3 actions, you start the things that must, you figure out the time it's going to take you, and 3 is leverage. So leverage, so we have to know the outcome and the purpose. We have leverage, which leverage is different than delegation. Okay? So some people would think delegation, but but this is kind of a form of delegation. The leverage is a little bit different. Here's why. Delegation is that you give the task to somebody else, and when they don't do it, you're upset, angry, sad, or disappointed. Yes? Who's done that? Who's ever delegated something and they didn't do it and now you're upset? Yes? Come on. Right? All right. So leverage is a little bit different because here's the thing. I told you can't do everything. So when you're doing this, you are going to look at some things that need to get done, but you're not going to be the one doing it. You're going to leverage it, which is a little bit different than delegation. Leverage is making sure the person you delegate it to understands the value. What do they need to understand? The outcome. They need to understand the outcome. You don't just say, go do this task. Here's what I need you to do, and here's the outcome of what we need to have to do with this. So they have to understand the outcome, understand the purpose and the why of this action. If you have a better action to get this outcome, and you can tell them, hey, here's the outcome. So here's what I think probably would be good, but hey, I don't really care. As long as the outcome gets done, if you have a better action plan to get it done, go for it, baby, okay? So let's talk on this date and check on it before it needs to be done so there's no surprises. And if you can't figure something out, come to me because we're partners on this. Do y'all see the difference with the delegation versus the leverage? So 3 questions to create the plan. Repeat it with me. What do I want? Why do I want it? And what's my massive action plan? And the 3 actions are? The must.
Star must, how much time will it take, and the leverage.
Okay. So when I have no time, I have to leverage more. So what if I could leverage to do 20% of this? That I could then, because sometimes I think we go, well, I can't delegate this, or I can't have somebody else do this because I can't afford that right now, right? Or I can't do this. So hire a housekeeper once a month, right? I mean, make some compromise. I can afford to get this done. Most important, if I'm really productive, because, right? If you're now more productive, what's going to happen? You should be doubling, tripling your productivity by doing the things we just talked about, right? And so you will need to hire somebody. You will never grow if your time is taken up by activities that are not that important. Let me just say that loud and clear again. You will never grow if your time is taken up by activities that are not that important. And too many people are focusing on the 80%, and that's why they're not seeing the outcome. So activities without high levels of purpose are the draining of our dreams. Activities without high levels of purpose are the draining of our dreams. So this new year, as we're goal setting, we hear about it and say, I know, but we got to be careful that we don't get too familiar with this goal setting, that we got to practice the fundamentals every day. That goal setting and reflecting, goal setting and reflecting, goal setting and reflecting. And we are putting the repetition with the basic skills. What's the motherhood of skill is repetition. It's book, coach, sell, recruit, over and over again. Set the goal and reflect over and over again, okay? We can't just have the skill and not have the reflection. And we can't have the reflection without the repetition of the skill. Only then do we have a shot of an amazing, fruitful, fulfilling life. And I know the biggest excuse everybody has, time. Time. That will be your excuse. If you have an excuse this year, if you don't reach your goal, it will be for one reason, because you tell yourself a lie that you don't have the time. What I shared just helped, but for you to not use the time as your excuse, whether it's your job, your kids, that you're moving, you're having a baby, you have a sick family member, all the life stuff, because guess what? We all have life stuff, because at whatever season you're in, there's always something, and there will always be something. Sooner we accept that and we move forward without the buts and excuses, the sooner you will see success and enjoy your life. All right, who's excited to do their plan? Okay, So we're going to start again with the notes with that. So at this time, and I know we're going to probably go a little bit over tonight, and I hope that's okay. I know it's our grand finale tonight. So we're going to have the recognition portion of the top 5, and then here's what's going to happen. After we do that, and I'm going to have them give the top 5, we're going to give 1 tip. Okay, and then I hope, if you absolutely have to leave and you're okay with that, but the last part is, here's what I'm gonna have everybody share. We're gonna go around and we're gonna share. And so get that piece of paper that I told you. So everybody have that, your sharing thing. Here's what you're gonna share, and then you're gonna do it in your hub. So we'll break after the recognition part. We're going to this last little part of the application of the book, everybody should be done with the book. So we're going to each just read the one, it's just like 5 pages, I think, of this last part. If we want to do that on our can, but basically just how to apply this to our lives, okay? And then you're going to, again, remember what I talked about, when you're in state is when you want to make the commitment and then follow through with resolution, results, and accountability. So everyone's going to share their commitment tonight, their commitment of the next 90 days. So the outcome that you want to have in the 90 days. And directors in your hub, if you can go ahead and make your notes, and then you can send me those too. So I have the notes of for you too, for the directors and for the directors and for your consultants to send me that. So your 90-day commitment. So the outcome of 90 days that you are committed to. And then you're going to have and then you're going to share your 2 actions. Remember the 2 actions that you've been putting off? That was the other thing you're going to share. And that's 30 days. I'm committed to doing this in 30 days. So in 30 days, you're going to create that. Becky, is that your little thing over there? Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. That's it. And then lastly, you're gonna partner with an accountability partner. All right. You're going to choose that person. And this is very important. It needs to be somebody that has a similar goal. So you'll share maybe when everyone's going around and you hear the 90-day goals, and that accountability partner needs to be established in the next 24 hours. Okay, so find somebody that has a similar goal, and they're going to be your accountability partner. What you're going to do with accountabilities, remember I said, is you can post. We're going to post on the Voxer daily. Again, this isn't about me. I already have these systems in place in my life. This is for you. So if you do it, it's going to help you. If you don't do it, it's going to not help you. Okay, so it's really up to you if you want to do it or not. So if you post that, and then in the 30 days for you and your accountability partner, you will talk at least once a day, every day for the next 30 days. And anybody who doesn't miss a day, you're going to keep a little journal. It doesn't have to be fancy, you guys. It's just get a little notebook and make one little thing what y'all talked about, okay? And you're going to share your outcome, your 90-day goal, and the 2 things. Those 2 things. Your accountability partner is going to know that. Y'all are going to encourage each other. And so that's what you're going to be talking about with them, just giving them an update, right? Does everyone kind of know it? You're just being accountable with that person on your commitment, your 90-day commitment, and your 30-day. Those 2 things that that you have been putting off that you're going to now commit to. And so you're going to, if you bring that to me at seminar, you and your partner, your little journal, I will have something special for you. I already know what it is, and it's something that's going to enhance your business. Okay. So also I'm going to post something. Hopefully I can find it. I listened to it earlier and I wanted to give it to you guys. It's a John Maxwell thing. And I'm going to hopefully post it for y'all to watch that this week as well. To do that. All right. And then lastly, you're just going to share what, and again, we're going to keep this short, what you learned and loved the most from this program. Okay. Because that's important for me and the rest to hear. So you're going to share and again, I want you to write this out so it's quick. All right. Because we're over time. So it should be really quick. I'm going to give you an example. All right. Yes. So we want to respect everybody's time. So we're going to say my 90-day commitment is to be in DIQ. My 2 things that I'm giving up, or my 2 things I'm creating, I'll just share mine right now so you know that, is my eating. I'm not going to write, I don't know exactly what that looks like, but I already started it. I'm just not going to eat bad. I'm not going to eat bad. I know what that is, okay? And then I am going to be in bed before 11. Okay, so those are my 2 things that I know that will help me immediately. Is I have to be in bed before 11, and I'm going to be making healthy eating choices. Okay, so those are my 2. So again, really quick, so you'll have that written down so it's in front of you, and then what your takeaway was. So that's it. Your 3 things: your 90-day commitment, your 2 things you know that you have been putting off that will change your life. And then 3rd is what did you love and learn from this? And just, again, all of those should be like, 1 sentence each. So it should take everybody maybe 30 seconds to 1 minute to share all that. Okay, so any questions, you guys, on that before we do our final, recognition for our top 5? No? You guys good? Okay. So, director, so here's what we're going to do is, And 2 announcements, you guys. We have the Cadillac pickup tomorrow. So yay! So I hope as many of you can be there for that, for the Cadillac pickup. It's not every day you pick a pink Escalade. It'll be about 3.5 years before you have another opportunity to see that, and hopefully not another pink Cadillac. But it's tomorrow at 6 o'clock. So bring your family, bring your husbands, bring the kids, and then also next Thursday, a week from tonight, I have a skincare class. I know Becky's coming. If there's anybody else that wants to go, and then the following, or no, not the following week, whatever that first Thursday is in July, I think it's the 6th, I also have a party. I already have one person, so I can take 1 to 2 more people at each one. So just let me know. Take advantage of that because, again, personal parties don't happen that often. So if you want to do that, just personally message me to do that. Okay, so will somebody maybe, and Stephanie, if you'll maybe do a pic collage for us of the final 5 to recognize them, put them on the area so everybody can see, because this is the grand finale. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to bring up the top 5 in alphabetical order, right? So you don't know. And then we're going to announce who 1 through 5 is, and then the one will pick her beautiful bag. Can't go wrong. Okay. So, so let's do a big shout out. So in our top 5 for the whole 6 weeks out of all of our AAA area and all 36 women, I think, that participated in this. And the top 5 is from the All Good unit, Beth the Brew. She's trying to get plugged in. We're not sure if she is. Okay. And second in the top 5 from the Hummingbird unit, Stephanie Corman. Okay. And number 3 from the Rising Stars, Maria Gloria Vallejo. So if somebody from your hub is called, just unmute so we can share. You can share your 1 tip. Okay. All right. Number 4, top 5, dun, 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 from the All Good unit, Mary Santiago. Oh my God. And number 5, dun, 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 our last one, the top 5, Paula Tyus. Okay, so we need all the top 5 to get either unmute or come on up here so they can pick. All right, who can help hold this up? We need a Dana. Becky, can you help with that? Or maybe grab this so they can see. Can you guys see the bags?
I'm gonna grab. There
Okay.
you
Oh my God.
Okay. So we'll show you guys the bags. Okay. So option number 1. Option number 2 has kind of like the animal print. It's like a tote size. Okay. Okay. 1. Cute. On side. Okay.
I got the next one here.
Okay. Okay. This is a beautiful, like, kind of the color of a pink Cadillac. So it probably look good. Very, like, classy. Classy.
Here's the next one. Here's this one.
Okay. So this one. Okay. So this one it's like a white, and it has clear, and it has like this inside of it. So like you put your stuff inside with the wooden handles. Okay. So I love them all. These are all ones I just picked what I liked. Hopefully you do. Okay, I really want to keep all of them. No. Okay. All right. So drum roll. Our number 1 from Leadership and Self-Deception Pacesetters is Paula Tyus. Yay. So Paula, share one tip. Our beautiful sales director up there. Can't wait to see you next weekend. So share with us maybe one tip from this.
Okay, well, Two-parter. Sorry. 2 bookings a day with prayer first.
So you were getting bookings in a day, and what was that?
Pray hard.
Pray. 2 bookings a day and pray. Hey, who can do that? Awesome.
Pray
All right, Miss number 1, which bag do you choose?
I want the animal.
Nice. You want the animal friend?
This is very powerful. Very good. Very good. I love it.
Do that again.
All right, Stephanie, you have to do one of our fabulous pic collages, okay?
I'm trying.
5 winners. Okay, so I gotta write this down, Paula. Animal print.
Thank you.
Like the names and the numbers.
Awesome job. Good job. Okay. And
Will somebody write down the names and the numbers?
oh, I'm sorry. I did want to say the other. Let me just say the top 10. I know the 6 through aren't getting, but so just so you know. Okay. All right. Hold on. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So number 10 from the Hummingbird unit, Jackie Grant. And number 9 from the WOW unit, Kim Harvey. Number 8, Superstar Sales Director, Rachel Quinn. Number 7 from the All Good unit, Dana Yerglin. Number 6 from the Rising Stars, Monica Gijan. Okay, great job. All right, back to top 5. So drum roll. Number 2 from the All Good unit, Superstar, GIQ, Beth Brew. I don't think, but I think we know it pretty well. Does anybody, who could help? I see.
It's probably gonna like the white and black one.
What do you guys think? Huh?
Kenisha says white and black.
The black satchel or the black and white one?
I don't know. I know she has a pink one that's like that one.
Yeah, she has a fuchsia one. Yeah.
No, like that white
Like that one?
That white one. That kind of. She has a pink bag that's sort of like that.
I don't think she has a blush one though. I haven't seen her with a blush one. I think you saw her with a blush one.
No.
Yeah. Me too.
What did you say?
Yes. Those two.
This one or this one?
Yeah.
So we think Beth would like either one of
I think
these?
the black and white one.
I feel like this is like.
I'm serious. I think that's.
Yeah, I like that one.
Okay. All right, Beth. We picked this one for you, Beth. We hope you like it. I think so. That seems, yeah, I agree. Okay. All right. Number 3. Dun, dun, dun. From the Hummingbird unit, Stephanie Porter.
Oh, it's a given. I'll take it, please.
All right. Which one for you?
Pinky.
Which one?
The black.
This one? Oh, I thought Maria Gloria was going to pick this one. Oh, Maria Gloria, you should have held one more party. Congratulations, Stephanie. Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. And number 4, I think I just gave it away. Maria Gloria. Yes. Maria Gloria.
The white
Right? Were you going to pick this one?
Yes, I want that one.
Should have held one more party. Okay, so she gets to choose. So,
There you go. Yeah, the brown one. That one's
Me? The white.
that one.
this one?
The white
Uh-huh.
one.
Hey,
You know what?
so here was the deal. whoever picked this one, because I really wanted to keep this one for myself. So I said, whoever gets this one, I'm going to just hold on to it until they earn their Cadillac.
No pressure. No pressure.
I know how to motivate you.
If you put pressure on her, she's going to put pressure on me.
And number 5, Mary Santiago. All right.
Mary,
Oh my gosh, I forgot you
I know I can't.
Mary.
Mary,
come here, middle. Mary, they want to see you.
Look at that.
Just the purse. No! Get a picture. Get a picture from Facebook, not this. Here's the purse.
You got it.
No. Okay. Okay, Mary, give us one tip. One tip. Personal growth. I was talking to Amy today, and I was telling her that everything that she's been doing with us, I just so appreciate it because I feel like I went back to the university and I'm doing psychology 101. You know, it's like, and I'm so grateful that we can do this. And every single time that we have this opportunity, you know, just like how you were saying, either look for a mentor or I mean, there's no place that we can get like what we get in here in Mary Kay. So I feel sad for the consultants that don't appreciate it, or maybe they don't have the vision, and maybe what we should do is really tell them about it so that they can capture it just like we all did. But congratulations to everyone. And that's great, you guys. You know, I know that sometimes, again, they don't know the value or they can't see the value. So now that we've just finished this, as Stephanie posts that, go on the area and go on your Voxers and say something. Oh my goodness, wow, I'm so grateful to participate in this. Next time we have a program, you know, I encourage you to do that. You know why it's, again, fresh in your mind. All right, Maria Gloria, give us one tip.
Clarity in one. Focus and pray.
Okay, clarity on what you want, focus,
And pray.
and pray. Awesome. All right, Stephanie.
Hi.
Hi.
Well, I have to say thank you very much. And I love this program because all you really have to do is follow the plan. Amy gave us what to do, and if you follow it, it works. And I'm very thankful and very grateful to be part of this group, and was absolutely shocked to rate in the top 10.
Yay. Well, I'm so proud of everybody. So I'm so proud of all of you. Congratulations to the top 5. And just for all of you for investing in this time in yourself. And I really hope that, again, you have scheduled your 2-hour time with yourself, and that you will start with these notes, and you'll start with, you know, applying and taking this plan to do that. So at this time, we're going to separate with our hubs and go ahead and just share our commitments and our action and our takeaway, okay? So love you guys. Good night.
Night.